Hey Ringside crew, welcome to the internationally known Dudes at Ringside podcast. And now here's your host, Joe Panther III.
Hello there, wrestling fans, and welcome to another episode of the internationally known Dudes at Ringside podcast. I am Joe Panther III, and today I have a big treat for you all. Let's give a warm Dudes at Ringside welcome to Evil Nate. Welcome, Evil Nate.
Thank you for that introduction. I appreciate you, man. Thanks for having me on.
No problem. So, who trained you?
I have a couple of different trainers. I started out, it was the local Joe Schmo thing. Nobody really taught me much. And then I got invited in 2012 as I was doing the independents in Kentucky. There was a wrestler that invited me to come down to Ohio Valley Wrestling. And I got to skip. They had 3 classes at the time, and I got to skip to the 3rd class, which was for the more experienced and advanced. So I felt really good about that. And I got to train under Rip Rogers for a couple of months. And this was when OVW was a TNA territory, and
Ooh.
TNA was using it for their developmental. So this is post the WWE. And like in my class, Rob Terry, the Freak, he was in my class. Jesse Goddard was in my class. I'm trying to think if anybody else. Oh, yeah. I don't know if you've seen them, but the Outrunners, they've been on AEW. Like they got that old 80s throwback gimmick.
Yeah, they were in those big glasses. I've been dying to get them on for a long time.
One of them was in the class with me. And Chris Silvio, who's in the NWA, he was in the class with me. There was a lot of really talented people that were in the class. I'm sure I'm forgetting a couple, but I got to spend a couple months there. That really helped me kind of exile a lot of my bad indie habits that I had picked up. Because when you train under Rip, you got to think Rip was a guy that had touched all these wrestlers back when OVW was a WWE developmental. So, you know, the CM Punks, all those guys that come through there. But fast forward after that, my partner, Black Dahlia, her and I, we left Kentucky, and she took me down to Texas, and she got me into Funaki's school down in San Antonio. So this was 2015, 2016. And because of her, I got to go down there, and he did the same thing like Rip did, but he was training us the way at that time. So 2015, 2016, Funaki was training his students the way they do at the Performance Center. So we got to work with him for, I think, 6 months. And then after that, or during that time, we met Rikishi. And we found out he had a school out in LA called Knox Pro. And Black Dolly and I, we flew out to check it out, flew back, and then we decided, because we were either going to go there or the Monster Factory up in Paulsboro, New Jersey. We went up, did a super camp that same time for the Monster Factory. And we decided to go to LA. So we got in the car, drove out to LA, stayed out there, living out of the car for 7 months, training under Rikishi.
Oh, wow.
Yeah.
So what kind of advice did the big old quiche gave you, or the people from OVW gave you, to put in this character of, like, they're your character, like, put together your character and everything?
I mean, it's basically about your presentation, because you don't go to wrestling to watch the guy next door, if that makes sense. You know what I mean? It's okay to have a guy next door, one guy, maybe 2 guys, but everybody can't be the guy next door. And it's the same thing as I don't want to see everybody look like the Ultimate Warrior, just like I don't want to see everybody look like the Young Bucks. I
Yeah.
need them. I need a variety of different body shapes and body types and different styles of wrestling. So what I learned and what I was taught was you got to make yourself into this character, make yourself larger than life. Because, and this is what I was just saying not too long ago on the previous podcast I was on, the things that make the world go round, characters. That's just plain and simple. I don't care if you're the greatest wrestler that ever lived. Sometimes that works, but there are 1,000 great wrestlers out there right now on the independents that could probably wrestle rings around half the people on TV. But it ain't about how good you can wrestle. It's about how good you can connect with your character. And if your character is just you turned all the way up to 11, like Stone Cold Steve Austin or The Rock, that's what you got to do. That's the reason guys right now, look at everybody that's getting over. LA Knight, Jay Uso, Cody Rhodes, CM Punk, Drew McIntyre. These are the guys that are getting over. That's why MJF does really well in AEW, is because it's about characters. So it's basically that. That's the best advice I got, is make yourself larger than life.
Yeah, man, like it's crazy to think that like back in I sound like I'm dating myself again with being 41, that the generational gap that a lot of these people have, these kids, these young wrestlers, they didn't live through the era of wrestling that we did when there was so many interesting characters and then there was so many wild things that happened between different eras of wrestling. So we
Yep.
had the golden, we had the attitude, then we had ruthless aggression. So how do you explain this young generation about what we have to deal with now with the indies? It's
Well,
hard because we didn't
I
have
think.
social media to deal with, you
Well,
know?
I think too. So I'm a big proponent. Social media matters. I think social media is the things that are going on social media today, with being able to go live, doing what you and I are doing here right now. I wanted this stuff back when Dolly and I was doing our original gimmick back in 2012 and 13. I was racking my brain and trying to figure out, man, if I could go live right now from the venue that we're wrestling from, oh my God, that'd be crazy. Her and I were cutting promos back then and putting them straight up to YouTube. You know, and what's funny about that is even now to this day that anybody can cut a promo, people don't, because they're afraid to talk. I guess they're afraid to be a character. And the wrestling aspect matters. And there are so many good characters out there right now. But it's that type of thing that, translates. And you can talk about it. And I said this, I love horror movies like slashers. My favorite slasher movies, or my favorite horror movies, are slashers because characters. Jason Voorhees is a character. Michael Myers is a character. Chucky is a character. Leatherface is a character. I love cryptozoology. Bigfoot is a character. The Jersey Devil is a character. The Mothman is a character. And this translates and works for everything. That's the reason we remember it. When you talk about like even history, what do we remember in history? We don't remember Joe Schmo. We remember the characters, whether you're talking about Napoleon, whether you're talking about the Red Baron, whether you're talking about Julius Caesar, Cleopatra. You go biblical with it even if you want to. Jesus, God, the devil, Moses, David and Goliath. It's character.
Yeah, you're right, man. It's like there's a lot of people that I remember as a kid that if I even say, "Oh, the Mountie, a Canadian Mountie wrestled a police officer from the
Yeah.
South
Yeah.
in a jailhouse match," immediately I get like, "Was this in a dream you had, Joe, or did you see this in a Warner Brothers cartoon?" I was like, "No, it was in a WWF pay-per-view at SummerSlam.
Yep.
The Canadian Mountie faced a Southern cop for a
Well,
good jail."
well,
Like,
that's why. I mean, Ultimate Warrior. The reason he matters so much, it's not that he was a great wrestler. He was a great character. Same thing with Hulk Hogan, Randy Savage. I mean, and then the bonus is if you can wrestle too and be a character, you're great. I mean, you've got it made. And I think that gets lost because in today's scene, in the industry, people want to go and do all these high spots, flips, cartwheels, and there's nothing wrong with that. Just like there's nothing wrong with all the death matches and crazy stunts, but you got to do that in moderation. You know what I mean? As I don't care that you're doing that. I want to know why you're doing that. Why are you doing that? If you give me a reason to care why you're going to do that, I'm gonna fucking love why you're doing it. But if you're just doing it, it's like cool. All right, that's cool that you can do that. So it's like watching imagine going to the movies and watching, let's say, an action movie, 2 hours of just nonstop fucking action without a story.
Yeah.
You get tired probably about an hour into it.
Like, I was looking at a clip on Instagram, or as I jokingly call it, Instagram. I don't know why it makes it sound funnier. I posted it on one of my wrestling groups I'm part of. It was from England. It was a promotion called TNT. I love those guys. They do some crazy shit. A guy did like a backflip with another guy through a pane of glass,
Yeah.
a pane of glass, and just slow motion too. Yeah.
Well, see, you're talking about that, and then also too. So in social media now, this day and age, it's about that instant gratification, and if I can become a meme or a quick viral video, a quick 5 to 10 second viral video, because the attention spans are very short now. So it's all about becoming that, having that viral clip. Because I've seen it happen. People will get these viral clips, they'll become that, and they'll start to get booked for it. But the problem with that is, how long can you keep that momentum? How long can you keep doing that and keep getting booked off of that one viral clip? Because that's only going to last for a minute.
Yeah.
So that's where you have to invest in yourself as a performer, as an entertainer. Some people like to call themselves artists. That's great too. If that's what you want to call yourself. Whatever you are presenting, you got to invest into it. You got to believe in what you're doing also, and you got to give people a reason to care. And I mean, I can point out quite a few guys on the indies right now that are doing that. And then I can point out even more guys that are not doing that. So I think a lot of times people just get lost and they forget the whole plot of what wrestling is supposed to be.
Yeah, man, you're so right. Like, it's so sad because you can see the wrestlers that are really putting their heart and soul into the characters.
Yep.
And then there's the other characters, they use their muscle, or they use they use like the CGI picture, so when they come out to the ring, it's like, that's not what I paid for. That's
That's
like a
funny.
wish. You know what I
Yeah,
mean?
that's funny.
It's like a wish character.
Yeah.
You know what I mean?
Oh, that's funny. Yeah, I get you.
It's like, hey, like, I got this. No, it's a wish. I made a wish. You paid $1.25 out of the machine, but you only got half the Skittles.
Yeah.
Like,
Yeah, you have to what you're selling to your consumer, your buyer. You have to deliver on what you're selling to the people. You can't shortchange them, because if you shortchange them with it, you'll get one transaction. And which is more important, getting one transaction or having a returning investment? So
yeah. So, even Nate, like, where in the country or the world have you put on that list to go to that you haven't been to yet?
oh, that I haven't been to. Well,
Yeah.
I've never wrestled out of country. Um, I'm not too caught up in doing that. I mean, if it happens, it'll happen, and I'll do it. But it's nothing I'm dying to be like. Like, you'll see a lot of guys and hear a lot of guys say, "Oh, I want to go to Japan," and that's cool. That's never been. Will I do it? Absolutely, but it's not a make or break me type of thing. So, I mean, going out of the country, for me, Canada and Mexico would be cool. Uh, England would be cool. Australia would be cool. But again, if it happens, it does. As far as here in the States, I've wrestled in quite a few states. I mean, I've Los Angeles, I've done New Jersey, I've done Maryland, of course, Kentucky, Ohio, Indiana, West Virginia, Tennessee, Mississippi, Texas, Arizona. I think that's everything so far. So, I mean, there's still quite a few states I haven't touched, but I mean, when I do, I'll do it,
Yeah.
so.
I just hope I'm there. I would love to meet you guys, meet
Well,
you in Black
thanks.
Dahlia. That'd be so much fun.
Thanks.
Yeah,
I'm sure you'll get a chance.
Yeah, I got as soon as I show I'm really short. So you'll be like, dang it, Joe, you're the wish. Yep, that's me. Yeah. Come come for the glasses, come for the glasses, stay for the personality, but then you got gypped on the height.
That's funny. That's funny,
Yeah.
man.
Yeah. Even though you get blinded if you're standing in front of me, I'm short, so like you're gonna get blinded by the sunlight as you're talking to me. Your
No, I
eyelids.
got you. I just won't look directly down at you then.
Tell poor Black Dahlia like to put like wear the big glasses as
Okay.
she meeting ding, lights are bouncing everywhere,
Yeah, yeah,
blinding everybody around.
yeah.
Um,
We'll be able to spot you then. So
yeah, like this, Joe. How do you know that you can see his glasses? They're shiny.
yeah.
Well, if I'm wearing these, there's no glass in the lens, so it's just my straight eyes going blind because my Mama Panther has warned me 10,000 times. Don't let me catch you wearing those in public. Why? Because you're gonna go blind.
That's funny. That's funny.
Yeah. So, when like you go to your shows, like the week of a show, what is it like normally like for you? Like, do you like plan out your schedule? Because usually, are you always traveling with Black Dahlia, or do you guys travel separate to like on show day, like week of show?
Well, we always travel together. I mean, there's a few occasions to where I've went and done a couple of shows and she didn't ride with me, but 98% of the time we're always traveling together. I know in a couple of weeks we'll be doing a scenario to where um, she'll be on a plane while I'll be on the road, but we'll end up meeting at the same place. So
Yeah.
there'll be that. But as far as like when it's a week of a show, and if I got one or two shows that week, it's just pretty standard stuff. Try to get to the gym as much as possible. Try to make sure my diet is on point and not slip too much with that. And just try to be ready and plan for how long I'm going to be gone. Like if it's a show that's pretty close, just like which hell a show that's close for me now is like 4 or 5 hours away. I never wrestle that close to home. Uh, but that's usually it. Just like spend the week prepping and making sure like everything is good to go. And that's just standard stuff, getting through our day job, working that, and making sure I got the time off that won't interfere with being on the road. So,
So if if my fans want to pick up anything of Evil Nate, where can they find any merch?
well, merch wise, right now I just have a pro wrestling tee store. It's just standard. I do have like slam buddies and some 8x10s and bracelets. I can always mail that stuff out. So you would just contact me for that stuff. You just contact me Instagram or Facebook or even Twitter, and you can find me on any of that on those social media outlets. Just look for Evil Nate. I'm the only one thus far that's called Evil Nate, but you'll be able to spot me because I usually have a human flesh mask with a big ass chainsaw. So
Awesome. Who made that? Did you make that yourself, Nate, or did like someone you find on Etsy that had that?
oh no, I wish I made that. It's an exact replica from Texas Chainsaw Massacre Part 3. A very good friend of mine named Eric. He has his own company. He's from down in Mississippi. They're called Disillusion 74 Studios. So he makes those. There's a couple guys that make those type of chainsaws. They're very expensive though. I think now, if he were to make one now, it would cost 4,000. When I purchased this one a few years ago, before I got back into wrestling, I paid 2,100 for it. So it
Oh,
was it was 2,100 for it, but it's chrome. It's an exact replica from that movie. It's been used by the Leatherface in that movie. He signed it. He's authenticated it. It's one of my favorite pieces out of my entire Texas Chainsaw collection. So
wow. That's
yeah,
awesome, dude.
thanks, I
Wow.
appreciate it.
Wow. You have any shows coming up?
Oh yeah, this Saturday coming, Black Dolly and myself, we will be in West Virginia. It's right outside of Huntington, West Virginia, I believe. But we will be in Battleground Wrestling. We're in the main event, and I'm facing Jeff Paul for the Battleground Wrestling Heavyweight Championship in a Halloween lumberjack match. So,
Mm.
yeah, we'll be there on Saturday. Sunday, we will be down in Tennessee for Smoky Mountain Terror. It's a horror convention. We're going to go down there and meet Leatherface's daughter and a couple other horror actors. So,
Wow.
and then the following weekend, Black Dolly is shooting a movie and a music video, and she's returning to San Antonio to valet, and I will be wrestling, I think, in Austin, Texas. That's not been announced yet for me. But that's my next two shows thus far.
Awesome. So when you get a chance to see, tell Black Dahlia, tell her Joe Panther III says hi. All the best.
Absolutely. I will let her know, man. I appreciate it. She'll be watching this. So.
She's an awesome person. And I shout out to Black Dahlia. Definitely go give her follows on her socials. She's such a good person. So awesome. Her story is so. If you haven't watched it, go back and definitely check out her episode after you're done watching Evil Nate's. It was such a fun episode. It was such an honor to have her on so she could share.
She's great, man. She's great. She's going to be very big in this business.
I believe that too. As soon as I booked her, I was like,
and she's very inspiring, man. What she's doing, what she's come back from, the adversity she's fought with CRPS, and check her story out. And if you haven't yet, Google CRPS and tell somebody about it today.
Yes. So. Thank you so much, Evil Nate. It was an honor to have you on.
Thank
I'm
you.
Joe Panther III. Your turn. Your
Evil
turn.
Nate. Oh, my name. Evil Nate.
And we will catch you in the next one.